سلام، به یک بخش دیگه از آموزش‌های اسپیکینگ آیلتس خوش اومدین. توی این بخش می‌خوایم چند تا از مباحثی رو که جزو پرتکرارترین مباحث توی بخش اسپیکینگ در قسمت یکش بودن رو با هم دیگه یاد بگیریم. پرتکرارترین سوالات توی هر مبحث رو میخونیم، برای اونها جواب پیدا میکنیم و بعد فریزهای مهم رو با هم دیگه یاد میگیریم. مبحث اولی که میخوایم در موردش صحبت کنیم مبحث شوز هست، کفش ها. حالا چه سوالاتی مهمه توی این مبحث از شما پرسیده بشه؟ How frequently do you buy shoes؟ شما هر از چندگاهی کفش میخرید؟ Where do you usually buy shoes؟ شما معمولاً از کجاها کفش میخرین؟ What is your favorite type of shoes؟ نوع کفش مورد علاقه شما چی هست؟ Why do some people have too many shoes؟ چرا بعضی از مردم کفش‌های زیادی دارن؟ Have you ever bought shoes online؟ آیا شما شده که به صورت آنلاین کفش خریداری کنین؟ بچه هر سوالی رو که من میخونم شما خودتون جواب اون رو بنویسین و بعد به جواب من گوش بدین. از فریزایی که من استفاده کردم توی جوابتون استفاده کنین. بریم سراغ سوال اول. How frequently do you buy shoes؟ I have never been much of shoe enthusiast. Since I like to stay indoors, the pair of shoes I own are not used regularly. I feel the need to buy a new pair of shoes once a year or sometimes even 2 years. Question number 2. Where do you usually buy shoes? Even since I was a kid, I have always preferred buying shoes from this store called Three Letters. During my childhood, my mother used to take me to this store for shoe shopping. Three Letters are known for their high-quality leather shoes and other footwear. Recently, I have started browsing and purchasing shoes from online stores too. Question number 3. What is your favorite type of shoes? Well, the kind of shoes that I prefer depends on the occasion. For events like parties or wedding ceremonies, I prefer a pair of leather shoes. If I'm just going out to buy groceries or for a stroll, I prefer T-bar sandals. In general, I like to wear comfortable shoes, so I prefer sandals or loose-fitting sneakers. Question number 4. Why do some people have too many shoes? چرا بعضی از مردم تعداد زیادی کفش دارن؟ Shoes, like any other form of apparel, are a fashion statement. Some people tend to wear different styles of shoes for different occasions. For some people, shoes tend to be a type of collectible that brings them joy. Some people prefer wearing fresh pairs of shoes even if the old pairs are not worn out, leading them to buy more shoes than they need. Question number 5. Have you ever bought shoes online? No, I have never bought a pair of shoes online. I prefer to try out a pair of shoes before making a purchase decision. Since online shopping platforms do not have the trial option, it is perplexing to make a decision based on mere images. I have heard instances where friends of mine had purchased a pair of shoes that looked attractive on online shopping websites, but when they received the products, it didn't match their expectation. خب حالا میریم فریز ها و کلمات مهم توی این بخش رو با هم دیگه میخونیم و معنی میکنیم تا شما هم توی متنتون از اونها استفاده کنید. enthusiast یعنی مشتاق چیزی بودن. So the meaning of enthusiast means a person who is very interested in a particular activity or subject. یعنی شخصی که علاقه زیادی به یک فعالیت خاص، یک موضوع خاص داره. For example, she was known to be a poetry enthusiast. Phrase بعد browsing. browsing یعنی جستجو برای پیدا کردن یک چیزی. So the meaning of browsing is survey goods for sale in a leisurely and casual way. For example, she was browsing through the collection of new footwear. پھریز بعد stroll یعنی آرام قدم زدن، گردش کردن. So the meaning of stroll in walk in a leisurely way. For example, they went for an evening stroll. پھریز بعد collectible یعنی جمع کردنی. So the meaning of collectible is worth collecting, of interest to a collector. For example, old coins were his favorite collectible. پھریز بعدی perplexing. The meaning of perplexing is completely baffling or very puzzling. For example, this mathematic problem is quite perplexing. سابجکت بعدی که جزو پرتکرارترین سوالات در آیلتس بوده مبحث living هست. زندگی کردن، اینکه کجا زندگی میکنین، محلتون چه شکلیه. بریم 5 از پرتکرارترین سوالات رو اول بخونیم. سوال شماره 1. Where are you living now? شما الان کجا زندگی میکنید؟ سوال 2. What do you like most about where you live? چه چیز رو بیشتر از همه در مورد جایی که زندگی میکنید دوست دارید؟ سوال شماره 3. What is the neighborhood like where you live? محله شما در جایی که زندگی میکنید چه شکله؟ سوال شماره 4. Do you have any friends there? شما اونجا دوستایی دارید؟ سوال شماره 5. What can be improved in an area where you live? بریم سراغ سوال شماره 1. Where are you living now? بچه سعی کنید که به این سوالا جوابای کوتاه و مثلا در حد 3-4 کلمه بخواید توصیف کنین، در این صورت نمره بالایی نمیگیرید. سعی کنید که تمام جزئیات رو بگید. به این مثال دقت کنید. Currently, I am living in a housing society that is situated in Newtown. I have recently moved from a place called Garden Ridge to Newtown. Newtown is located on the outskirts of Calcutta, where Garden Ridge is closer to central Calcutta. Calcutta is one of the biggest metropolitan cities in India. Question number 2. What do you like most about where you live? The most wonderful part about my society is that the environment is very clean and well maintained, and the roads are lined with trees and small bushes, which create a peaceful and pleasing ambience. The roadways within the society are also well planned and kept in a good condition. During the monsoon seasons, there are no issues related to waterlogging or drainage. Question number 3. What is the neighborhood like where you live? Well, since I live in a housing society, most residents are not acquainted with one another. Although some individuals have friends or even other family members and relatives staying in a society, they don't meet frequently. Mostly young working individuals with rented apartments stay in my society. Since Newtown is the new business hub of Kolkata, a majority of residents are employees in a various organizations located in this area. Question number 4. Do you have any friends there? No, I don't have any friends in my society, and I'm not a very outgoing person. Thus, I rarely meet new people since I have only been living in this society for almost a year. I haven't had the chance to make new friends. Question number 5. What can be improved in an area where you live? چه چیزایی میتونه بهتر بشه توی مکانی که تو داری زندگی میکنی؟ Although there are very few complications with the housing society that I live in, some improvement can be made. Firstly, there is an issue of stray dogs loitering on the premises. And there have also been cases of occupants getting bitten by these dogs. I think the authorities should take the necessary action to solve this problem. Secondly, the water in this society has too much iron contact in it. And I believe proper steps should be taken to improve the quality of water. خب حالا بریم سراغ فریز ها و کلمات مهمی که ما توی این بخش استفاده کردیم. سعی کنید که شما هم از این فریز ها استفاده کنید تا اسپیکینگ تو حالت یک شخص نیتیو رو داشته باشه. Outskirts یعنی جایی دور از مرکز شهر، حاشیه شهر. So the meaning of outskirt is the outer parts of a town or city. For example, their office was located on the outskirts of the city. Phrase about waterlogging. The meaning of waterlogging is something with water makes something waterlogged. For example, the issue of waterlogging was common in this neighborhood. Acquainted یعنی آشنا کردن با چیزی. So the meaning of it is make someone aware of to familiar with something. For example, the contestants were yet to be acquainted with the judges. Phrase بعدی outgoing. Outgoing means friendly and socially confident یعنی یک شخص خونگرم و اجتماعی. For example, she was known to be an extrovert and outgoing person. Phrase بعد loitering. Loitering یعنی درنگ کردن، تأخیر کردن، صبر کردن. So the meaning of it is stand or wait around without apparent purpose. For example, those two were loitering around for a quiet long time. موضوع بعدی که میخوایم در موردش صحبت کنیم دکوریشن هست. 4 از پرتکرارترین سوالات این مبحث رو اول با هم دیگه میخونیم. What is the decoration like in your house? دکوراسیون خونه شما چه شکلیه؟ What kind of decoration do you prefer? چه نوع دکوراسیونی رو شما ترجیح میدید؟ Do Indian people like decorating their homes? آیا مردم هند دوست دارن که خونه هاشون رو دکور کنن؟ What is your favorite color when decorating your home? رنگ مورد علاقه شما وقتی که میخواین خونتون رو دکور کنید چه رنگ هست؟ بچه هر سوالی رو که من میخونم شما برای اون یک جواب بنویسین و بعد به جواب من گوش کنید و سعی کنید از کلمات و فریز هایی که من توی جوابم استفاده کردم شما هم توی جوابتون به کار ببرید و جوابتون رو کامل تر کنید. بریم سراغ سوال اول. What is the decoration like in your home? The most embellished part of my house are the living room and the balcony. The walls of my living room are covered with the beautiful wallpapers of my mother's choice. One of the walls is adorned with multiple photo frames of my family members. There are a few paintings and night lamps on the other walls of my living room. My balcony has a nice swing chair which is perfect for reading a novel. سوال دوم. What kind of decoration do you prefer? I have always preferred a simple style of decoration. The idea of having multiple posters on the walls and having different type of lights all at the same time is something that I never fancied. I also like rooms that are less congested and have a spacious feel to them. سوال بعد. Do Indian people like decorating their homes? مردم هند دوست دارن که خونه هاشون رو دکور کنن؟ Indians love furnishing their homes with the most attractive ornaments. The practice of always adding something new to the living room shelves is common in every Indian household. It is difficult to come across an Indian house that is not adorned with the traditional decoratives, accessories, and souvenirs from different vacation destinations. What is your favorite color when decorating your home? The color that I prefer the most when it comes to decorating my home is orange. Since orange is a bright color, it brings about a certain glimmer wherever it is used as a color scheme. Also, I prefer this color over other bright colors like red, yellow and green as it puts less stress on the eyes during the daytime. خب الان بریم فریزهای مهمی که توی این بخش خوندیم رو معنیشون رو یاد بگیریم. اولین فریز چی بود؟ embellish. embellished یعنی تزیین کردن، آرایش دادن. So the meaning of embellish is making something more attractive by the addition of decorative details or features. For example, the cathedrals were embellished with marvelous murals and paintings. فریز بعد fancy. fancy یعنی به چیزی علاقه داشتن. So, the meaning of fancy is feel a desire or liking for. For example, spending time with his family was something he always fancied. کلمه بعد ornaments. ornaments یعنی تزیینات، پیرایش. So the meaning of ornament is decoration added to embellish something. For example, the cafe was filled with a beautiful ornament. کلمه بعدی glimmer. معنی glimmer یعنی نور کم. So the meaning of glimmer is shine faintly with a wavering light. For example, the glimmer of the moonlight was beautiful to witness. مبحث بعدی که میخوایم در موردش صحبت کنیم names هست، در مورد اسامی. 4 از پرتکرارترین سوالات توی بخش 1 اسپیکینگ آیلتس این سوالات بودن که الان با هم دیگه میخونیم. سوال اول Is it easy for you to remember people's name? برای تو راحته که اسامی افراد رو به خاطر بسپاری؟ How do you remember people's name? تو چطور اسم افراد رو حفظ میکنی؟ How do you feel when people can't remember your name? چه حسی بهت دست میده وقتی که افراد اسم تو رو به خاطر نمیارن؟ Do you often forget people's name? معمولا اسم افراد رو فراموش میکنی؟ بریم سراغ جواب ها. Is it easy for you to remember people's name? Yes, I have always been capable of remembering the names of acquaintances. There have been 2 instances in my life where I remembered the names of my old friends, whereas they had forgotten mine. In my opinion, one should always try to remember the names of friends and colleagues as it helps avoid embarrassing social situations. سوال بعدی How do you remember people's name? I do not have a definite scheme or technique to remember the names of everyone I met. After more than a few conversations with an individual, their names remains in my mind naturally. I believe that once we interact with a person more than a certain degree, it is difficult to forget their name. سوال بعد How do you feel when people can't remember your name? I have been in a social situation where the person I was in conversation with couldn't recall my name. At the moment, I felt a bit taken aback and I also felt cumbersome continuing the conversation henceforth. Subsequently, I did not put much thought into as it a person concerned was not part of my immediate social circle. سوال بعد Do you often forget people's name? A social situation or interaction where I couldn't recall a person's name has seldom happened in my life. I have always been quite good at remembering names and even the background of acquaintances. The only time when I have trouble remembering someone's name is when the person in concern is an acquaintance of my parents or a distant relative. خب حالا بریم معنی فریز ها و کلمات مهم این بخش رو یاد بگیریم. Acquaintance. Acquaintance یعنی آشنایی و آگاهی. So the meaning of it is a person one knows slightly but who is not a close friend. For example, John has a wide circle of friends and acquaintances. phrase بعد scheme. معنی اسکیم یعنی طرح، نقشه، پروژه. So the meaning of scheme is a systematic plan for attaining a particular object, putting an idea into effect. For example, there is a predefined scheme for accomplishing this task. کلمه بعدی cumbersome یعنی یک کار طاقت فرسا و سنگین. So the meaning of cumbersome is awkward, hard to do or deal with. For example, since I could not pronounce my Dr. Cumbersome name, I simply spelled it out for the receptionist. کلمه بعد seldom یعنی به ندرت، خیلی کم. So the meaning of seldom is not often or rarely. For example, he seldom spoke out of turn. موضوع بعدی که میخوایم در موردش صحبت کنیم primary school هست. بریم سوالات پرتکرار رو اول بخونیم. Question number 1. What did you like the most when you were in primary school? Question number 2. How did you go to your primary school? Question number 3. How do you like your primary school? Question number 4. What did you do in your leisure time in your primary school? جواب هر کدوم رو بنویسید و بعد از اون ادامه ویدیو رو ببینید. What did you like the most when you were in primary school? Well, the memories of my primary school are one of the most cherished memories I have with me. Everything about primary school was fun and the classes never felt boring. My teachers were always kind and helpful, and everyone in the class was friendly. The most memorable parts of my primary school were the recesses where all my friends would run out of the playground and enjoy the rides and swings. Question number 2. How did you go to your primary school? چه شکل به این مدرسه دبستانت میرفتی؟ Well, actually, my primary school was just a few kilometers away from my residence. So reaching there was never a hassle, and my parents had arranged a carpool service which helped me and other students from my locality reach school every morning. I had to walk a certain place where the carpool would pick me up, and I was accompanied by my father every day. However, there were instances where I would ask my father to drop me off at school personally, as I liked the journey to school on a motorbike. How do you like your primary school? There are many features of my primary school that have etched my childhood years in my memory. The most significant of those was the game classes that we had every Friday. During game classes, our physical education teacher would divide us into groups and make us play team sports. The most popular team sports that we played were football and kho-kho. What did you do in your leisure time in your primary school? توی وقت آزاد و وقت تفریح زمانی که دبستان بودی چه کارایی انجام میدادی؟ During primary school, we used to have two recesses, a short recess for snacks and a longer one for lunch. Actually, most of the time, the shorter recesses was exhausted due to washroom breaks as it only lasted for 10 minutes. It was during the long recesses that we had the most fun. Every day, as soon as the bell rings, almost the entire class would run out and meet up at the playground. We would always argue on which game to play on a particular day and finally settle on something like catch, tag, or statues. بریم سراغ معنی فریز ها و کلمات مهم این بخش. cherished یعنی چیزی رو گرامی داشتن. So the meaning of cherish it holds something dear. For example, these are cherished memories. Hassle means irritating inconvenience. یه چیزی که باعث ناراحتی شما میشه و شما راحت نیستید. For example, going back and forth between two reasonable alternatives is a quite a hassle. Etched means be permanently fixed in someone's memories. این که برای همیشه توی خاطره یک نفر بمونید. For example, the events of the super cyclone remains etched in our minds. Recess یعنی زنگ تفریح. So the meaning of recess is a break between school classes. For example, everyone waited for the afternoon recess eagerly. موضوع بعدی که میخوایم در موردش صحبت کنیم volunteer، کار داوطلبانه. 5 تا از پرتکرارترین سوالات توی این بخش چیا هستن؟ Why do you think people volunteer؟ شما فکر میکنید که چرا مردم کار داوطلبانه انجام میدن؟ Question number 2. Would you like to work as a volunteer؟ دوست دارین که کار داوطلبانه انجام بدین؟ سوال شماره 3. Have you ever done any voluntarily work؟ تا حالا کار داوطلبانه انجام دادین؟ Is volunteering worth the time it takes؟ آیا کار داوطلبانه ارزش زمانی که میبره رو داره؟ What could you do to help if you had no money؟ شما چه کاری برای کمک انجام میدین اگه هیچ پولی نداشته باشین؟ سوال شماره 1. Why do you think people volunteer؟ ویدیو رو پاس کنین، جواب خودتون رو اول بنویسین. بچه‌ها سعی کنین که جوابای کوتاه ندین. هر جوابی که میارین براش مثال بیارین. در موردش کامل با جزئیات توضیح بدین. Why do you think people volunteer? The motive behind volunteering is different for every individual. Typically, when a person signs up for voluntarily work, it is to help the poor. Such endeavors are also undertaken by people who have a lot of spare time and want to do something productive and impactful. There are also instances where volunteering is only an addition to a person's resume. This is more common among college students who lack work experience. Would you like to work as a volunteer? Yes, I would like to work as a volunteer sometimes in the future. I believe that such humanitarian activities are the only possible when a person does not have an immediate need or goal to achieve. Since I'm in my early 20s, there are various aspects of my life that need more attention. Thus, at this stage of my life, volunteering is not feasible. Have you ever done any voluntarily work? Yes, I have participated in voluntary work during the first semester of my college. I was part of the Green Club, which often organize welfare activities and events. Owing to the after effect or super cyclone, we were given the responsibility to provide food and clothing to the affected. It was a team effort, and I had a wonderful experience during this activity. Is volunteering worth the time it takes? In my opinion, volunteering is only suitable for individuals who do not have any urgency in their lives. Worrying about the welfare of others is a selfless activity. If a person's mind is preoccupied with something else, such endeavors are difficult to carry out. As the saying goes, charity begins at home. A person should only take on the responsibility of volunteering if their time is not accounted for and they are free from any kind of stress. سوال بعد: What could you do to help if you had no money? Actually, there are several ways to be charitable that do not involve the exchange of money. Moreover, it is always more prudent to provide the destitute with essentials like food and clothing. Also appealing to the local authorities and the government to make measures for providing the homeless with a decent shelter. Especially during natural calamities, is an endeavor that requires more effort and persistence from the entire community than monetary aid. کلمات مهم این بخش رو بخونیم و معنی اونا رو یاد بگیریم و شما سعی کنید که از اینها توی این مبحث استفاده کنید. رزومه یعنی خلاصه تجربیات شما، دستاوردهای شما. So the meaning of resume is a brief account of a person's education, qualification, and a previous occupation, typically sent with a job application. For example, he managed to create an impressive resume within 5 years of graduating from college. phrase بعد humanitarian یعنی انسان دوستانه، بشر دوستانه. So the meaning of humanitarian is concerned with or seeking to promote human welfare. For example, the humanitarian efforts of the local club were admirable. After effect, it means an effect that flows after a primary action of something. کارایی که بعد از اینکه یک حادثه‌ای به وقوع میپیونده انجام میشه. For example, he felt groggy as an after effect of the pain medication. phrase بعد preoccupied means engrossed in thoughts or distracted. یعنی پریشان حواس، پرمشغله. For example, she was preoccupied with the test result all day. phrase بعد endeavor. Endeavor means an attempt to achieve a goal. For example, the quest for immortality is a foolish endeavor. موضوع بعد housework، کار خانگی. این مبحث خیلی توی بخش 1 آیلتس تکرار شده توی اسپیکینگ. بریم 5 تا از پرتکرارترین سوالات این بخش رو بخونیم. Question number 1. Do you do housework at home? سوال 2. What kind of housework do you often do? سوال 3. Did you do housework when you were a child? سوال 4. Do you think that children should do housework? سوال 5. Do you think that men and women should share housework? بریم سراغ جواب ها. Do you do housework at home? شما توی خونه کار خونگی انجام میدین؟ اگه بگین yes باید مثال بیارین، در موردش صحبت کنین. اگه جوابتونم نباشه بازم همین. نباید به صرف یک yes و no خالی اکتفا کنید. Do you do housework at home? Yes, I help my mother with housework whenever I can. Especially on weekends. I like things done a certain way, which is why I prefer to clean and systemize my room. I like to do the laundry as it does not require a lot of effort. I also help with grocery shopping as it acts as a kind of physical exercise. What kind of housework do you often do? چه نوع کار خونگی انجام میدی؟ چه کارهایی انجام میدی؟ Well, the kind of housework that I do depends on the day of the week. During weekdays, I help with a cleaning of dishes and utensils after lunch and dinner, as it's a simple chore. However, on the weekends, my family and I clean the entire house as a weekly ritual. I also help with other household chores like dusting the electrical appliance, scrubbing the bathrooms, and so on. سوال بعدی. Did you do housework when you were a child? وقتی که بچه بودی کار خونه انجام میدادی؟ No, as a child I seldom took responsibility for a household chores. Since we used to live in a house unlike an apartment, cleaning the entire house was a laborious task. So my mother had hired a maid to help her with all the housework. Nevertheless, on a special occasion, my mother would tell me to help her with cleaning, and it was an exciting experience as we would often find lost toys and items while going through all the nooks and crannies. سوال بعد. Do you think that children should do housework? به نظر شما بچه ها باید کار خونگی انجام بدن؟ I believe that children should be taught the importance of sharing the responsibility of housework. It is often seen that in a household, the onus of housework often falls on women. Such conventions are not all the progressive, even though they are very commonplace. That being said, children should be given household chores to carry out so that they can be responsible for themselves and their families in the future. سوال بعد. Do you think that men and women should share housework? Well, I'm a strong supporter on the notion the housework should be shared between all members of the household. Actually, regardless of their gender, it is unreasonable to ask a single person or gender group to carry out all the household chores. Since the comfort and facilities of home are enjoyed by all, it is the only fair that every member of the family should work towards maintaining the house. بریم سراغ معنی فریزهای مهم این بخش. Systemize. Systemize یعنی طبقه بندی کردن. So the meaning of systemize is arrange according to an organized system. For example, she systemized her thing before the exam commenced. phrase بعد ritual. ritual یعنی تشریفات مذهبی، آیین‌ها. So the meaning of ritual is arising from convention or habit. For example, they always follow a ritual of having sweets before occasion. Laborious. laborious یعنی کار سخت، زحمت کشیدن، سخت کوشی. So the meaning of laborious is requiring considerable time and effort. For example, the journey from my residence to the restaurant is a laborious one. Convention. convention یعنی رسم و سنت، آیین. So the meaning of convention is behavior that is considered acceptable or applied to most members of society. For example, they disregarded all family convention when they took such drastic measures. Chore. chore یعنی کارهای روزمره و روتین توی خونه. A routine task, especially a household one. So the meaning of chore is a routine task, especially a household one. For example, he did his chores before going to work. خب بریم سراغ سوال بعدی. سوال بعدی ممکنه توی اسپیکینگ از شما بخوان که یک سفری که با دوچرخه، موتورسیکلت یا کار رفتین رو برای اونها توصیف کنید. در واقع میپرسن Describe a bike trip or motorcycle trip or car trip you would like to go on. In this case, you should talk about where you would like to go. دوست دارید کجا برید؟ Who you would like to go with. دوست دارید با چه کسی این سفر رو برین؟ What you would like to go. دوست دارید کجا برید؟ And explain why would you like to go by bike, motorcycle or car. و توضیح بدید که چرا دوست دارین توی این سفر با دوچرخه باشید، با موتورسیکلت باشین یا با ماشین برین. به این چند تا سوال جواب بدین و بعد نمونه جوابی که من میخونم رو گوش کنید و از فریز هایی که استفاده میکنم شما هم تو جوابتون استفاده کنید. بعد از اون ما فریز ها و کلمات مهم رو با هم دیگه معنی میکنیم. Okay, let's read the simple answer. Traversing across places is one of my favorite leisure activities. Actually, I generally prefer visiting places by car, and the idea of going to exciting places imbues me with an exhilarating vibe. Moreover, being an audiophile, I will never miss a chance to visit hill station with ample trekking trails and good camping facilities. The joy and thrill of visiting a place quadruple when you team up with people who match your vibe. As a result, I would like to go there with 5 of my closest friends as they are delightful travel buddies. Also, we share a plan to visit the hill station just before winter when the place will have snow-clad mountains and chilly weather and the number of tourists will be scanty. A car's safety is vital, especially in a post-pandemic situation when the situation can worsen at any time. Moreover, the advantage of traveling by my own car is huge as we don't have to depend on others and relish the beauty of nature and each other's company at our own pace. حالا بریم سراغ معنی کلمات مهم. Traversing همون به معنی مسافرت رفتن. So the meaning of traversing is traveling. For example, Karen likes traversing across new cities in search of inspiration for her novel. Phrase بعد imbue. Imbue means to fill with. For example, the children were imbued with joy the moment they heard of hiking. یعنی با چیزی پر شدن، سرشار از چیزی بودن. Phrase بعد exhilarating. Exhilarating یعنی یک چیز مهیج و شادی آور. So the meaning of exhilarating is exciting and happy. For example, there was an exhilarating and deafening hoot in the crowd when the artist came. Aerophile یعنی شخصی که کوه‌ها رو خیلی دوست داره. So the meaning of aerophile is one who loves mountain. For example, my friend is an aerophile while I don't like mountain. Phrase about scanty. The meaning of scanty is less. For example, the scanty rainfall caused massive losses to farmers. سوالای مرتبط دیگه‌ای که ممکنه در ادامه این بخش در رابطه با همین موضوع از شما بپرسن سوالایی هستن که الان با همدیگه میخونیم و باز هم فریزهای مهم رو با همدیگه معنی میکنیم. سوال اول Which form of vehicle is most common in your country? Bike, car or motorcycles? چه نوعی از وسیله نقلیه توی کشور شما استفاده از اون رایج تره؟ Well, India, being an enormous country, has access to diverse modes of convenience, so most people in the country own a two-wheeler. Moreover, with the availability of easy loans and an increase in income, buying a car has become a lot easier, which has resulted in an increase in ownership of vehicle. سوال بعد Do you think an air pollution comes mostly from the mobile vehicles? خب گفته که فکر می‌کنین که آلودگی هوا تنها از وسیله‌های نقلیه میاد؟ Well, think mobile vehicles like cars, motorbikes and buses are one of the principal factors contributing to air pollution. میگه وسیله‌های نقلیه مثل کار، موتورسیکلت‌ها و اتوبوس‌ها در واقع یکی از علل اصلی هستن که مرتبط با آلودگی محیط هستن. However, the unavoidable of industries and their inefficient administration is the primary contributor to the degradation in air quality. سوال سوم که بازم مرتبط با همین تاپیک هست. Do you think people need to change the way of transportation drastically to protect the environment? Well, we can make numerous changes in transportation that will definitely affect the environment positively. For example, turning off the engine during traffic halts, practicing carpooling and accepting electric automobiles, and so on. سوال بعد How are transportation systems in rural and urban systems different? Well, in rural areas, transportation is confined to buses, motorcycles and bikes as the roads are not well constructed and accessible. But in urban areas, due to a better infrastructure, modes of transport and well-developed, well-connected and have variety. فریزهای مهم این بخش رو با هم دیگه بخونیم. Convenience. The meaning of convenience is the process of carrying of transportation it from one place to another. For example, the man who is in charge of the convenience is absent today. Unbridled. The meaning of unbridled is not controlled or limited. چیزی که کنترل نشده و محدود نیست. For example, due to his unbridled ambition, he has met his end in such a trivial way. Augmentation. The meaning of augmentation is the process of increasing the size, value or quality of something by adding. یعنی چیزی رو غنی کردن. For example, better opportunities and living standards led to the augmentation of the population of the country. Carpooling. Carpooling یعنی مسافرت کردن توی یک ماشین و کنار هم بودن توی یک ماشین در طول مسیر سفر. So, the meaning of carpooling is to travel together to work or school in a car, usually taking turns to drive. توی کارپولینگ معمولا اتفاقی که میفته اینه که معمولا افراد در حین مسیر رانندگی جاشون رو با هم دیگه عوض میکنن و هر کسی یک مسافتی رو تا آخر مسیر رانندگی میکنه. For example, the practice of carpooling is helping in reducing pollution. Accessible یعنی دسترسی داشتن به چیزی. So, the meaning of accessible is able to be reached or easily got. For example, our professors are easily accessible and so they are popular among students. سوال بعدی که توی اسپیکینگ ممکنه از شما پرسیده بشه این هست. Describe an exciting book you read or a book you read and found very interesting. کتابی رو توصیف کنید که شما اونو خوندین و خیلی دوستش داشتین و روتون تاثیر گذاشته. معمولا باید به این سوالها توی متنتون جواب بدین. When you read it چه زمانی اونو خوندین؟ What type of book it is چه نوع کتابی بود؟ What is it about در مورد چی بود؟ Why did you find it exciting چرا به نظر شما این کتاب جالب بود؟ Sample answer بریم جواب که آماده کردیم و بخونیم. Books are an eminent source of information, feeling and inspiration. Being a voracious reader, I enjoy reading books even though I have read many exciting books in my life. One book has caught my attention. Last month I was feeling low and I talked to my elder brother about it. And he suggested the book Atomic Habits. This book is so exciting and addictive that I remained involved in reading the masterpiece when I started reading it. Actually, this book is a self-help book. The main focus is on the small habits of people that can bring change. It says that we can get a paradigm shift in our lives by the compound effect of hundreds of small decisions, whether we have to improve our habits by working on this. By making means change so that it can grow into such life-altering outcomes. This book has a transformative effect because after reading it, you can handle all the discords in your life adroitly. There is no doubt in denying this conviction that most people work so hard to gain accomplishment in their lives. This book has elucidated the process of attaining success in a consummate manner. This book can add fun to your life by leading you towards an impressive growth trajectory by breaking bad routine and making good ones. فریز ها و وکب های مهم رو با هم دیگه بخونیم و معنی کنیم. Voracious. Voracious means engaging in an activity with a great eagerness or enthusiasm. یعنی خودتو درگیر کاری کنی و خیلی مشتاق باشی برای انجام اون کار. For example, my friend Rizzo is such a voracious reader that she doesn't keep her novel down even in a classroom. Parodic. Parodic means a typical example or pattern of something. A pattern or model. یه شیوه و روش. یه مدل بودن. For example, Charlie's programming paradigm has taken the computer world by storm. Phrase بعد adroitly. Adroitly means in a clever or skillful way. یعنی به راه و روشی خردمندانه و هوشمندانه کاری رو انجام دادن. For example, Alan adroitly slipped the diamond necklace into his pocket from the shop. Minuscule. Minuscule means extremely small or tiny. For example, some people love to collect minuscule things. یعنی چیزهای کوچیک. امیدوارم که این بخش مورد توجهتون قرار گرفته باشه. این ویدیو برای صفحه نوید داریا تهیه شده است.